I feel like I remember there being a leaked phone call and some other stuff that came out too that got you kicked out of school too. No, was that?
Yeah, that is something.
Something about like if a white girl dates a black person, it's the same as like fucking a dog, something like that. Maybe am I remembering this? Am I remembering this correctly?
Of course.
No.
Because who knows what me and Chris are gonna feel like about this, right? No real shit. Like me and Chris are, you know.
Yeah. Like you could definitely have a 25-50%. I could see it.
Nick, but it's like so like surface level. Just like what does being black mean? What does being white mean?
Oh, we go deeper.
It's like you're looking at it.
We can press pause there.
Already, I know that you wanted to get into that topic. Hit us with it, Chris.
All right. So what does that mean?
What does being black mean? What does being white mean?
Well,
this might be our whole discussion because I'm pretty sure we disagree on this topic. I'm pretty sure.
What does be okay? So I'll go straight with the terminology being what does being white mean. I think the terminology that the first comes to my mind and maybe others, privilege. You know, I'm just narrowing down to like one word, like, you know, privilege. That was
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Or not a question, for clarification. You don't think? Let me ask it this way: Do you? I don't want to ask it in an assumptive way, and I don't want to cut you off from what you were saying.
No.
So I should let you finish.
No, I was keeping it simple. I'm bringing it down to the simplest form.
All right.
What is being white, in my opinion?
So you think white is something that you're granted, but do you think black is an appearance? That's what I mean. That's what I want.
That's a great way of how you did that, and I think that's how that's perceived. I think black is being put as an appearance, and then I think white is being put in a place of empowerment or privilege. So, wow. Huh. Yeah, he's spitting me around, and then you spin me around. I'm like, whoa, okay. That's true. And I think that most people being black it is an image right away. And with that image, it's a taboo. I hate to say it like that.
No. You know what? I agree with you. And one of the first things that I detached, and it's gonna sound weird. I know this is gonna sound weird. One of the things that I detached from first about being black is the appearance of it.
When you do that, then it almost evens the field. Which makes sense. See, we're programmed to think of the image first. Black, you think of black as automatically is the color.
I'm gonna tell you what I get though.
Okay.
All right, so I'm pretty good at being detached from it's like, especially in my inner thought. I don't think of myself as the appearance of black.
Okay.
I do understand that in society I'm black. Right? So but I separate those things immediately. Like, so when I'm thinking of me without having to access anybody else, I don't think of myself as any race. And I think maybe people think that's impossible, or they just don't get it, but I've completely disassociated myself with race at a me-to-me level.
And I think you did that because you disassociated yourself from the stereotypes.
Sure, but I think...
Which is fine. That's no. Because see, it's an image, but then it's a stereotype, right? That comes behind it.
Yeah.
So I think... No, because for me, I'm the same way. I don't do stereotype or stereo... Like what my friend she used to say, stereotypical. Like I don't do the stereotypical where people people would paint a black man or a black woman. I don't fit that criteria. So no, you're absolutely right. So like does that fall under the guideline? No. Do I feel that way? Not really, but yes. But do I know that exists and that's a real thing? Absolutely. That's
I don't think it's a real thing. I know that it exists.
Well, I say it's a real thing because there's some people that do fall in that guideline.
Under the stereotype?
Under a stereotype or whatever the picture they painted. So that's why I call it that's a reality to me with that.
But I think you're right. I don't think the stereotypes define the portrait that is culturally painted by the stereotype. I don't think that the existence of the stereotype makes the stereotype true.
I agree.
It's almost like when we're talking about astrology, like zodiac signs. I don't think that just because some Aries are this certain way that they're Aries. I still say there's no such thing as an Aries, right? Mm-hmm. And then a woman could be like, well, Aries are this and this and this, and then we can look at the stats and be like, well, that fits 30% of Aries, and I'll still be like, that doesn't fit. I don't think Aries are a thing, and so it's similar in that type where. Personally, I don't acknowledge race.
Okay.
And I mean that wholly. I don't think as a human being that race matters at all.
It shouldn't.
I think with even if I wanted to dive into what I think is race actually, I think it's a collection of physical traits. So even if I'm like, okay, I have this collection of physical traits, people perceive it as black. Even if I start breaking that down, it's not going to be consistent.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's not going to be consistent. It's not going to uphold because it doesn't have any actual truth. It just has. It has a tribal truth. It has a cultural truth, and that's the part that I can accept. That it has tribal and cultural truths.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's what's been strict.
And we could dig into that more too. Yeah, we could
go to another dimension.
I could be like, I'm Nigerian, and I might not agree with Ghanaians, but we have all the same kind of physical attributes, a collection of physical attributes that make us black, but culturally we might be separate.
Uh-huh.
So even in the cultural appropriation of having attributes that are the same doesn't make you the same people.
No, I agree. But I agree, and I think that but in today's world, that's emphasized though, and it puts us into a category or a slot or whatever the case may be. No, so I agree. But it's gonna be hard for people to understand that, which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with not understanding. You know, I think that like this will probably go over some people's head. You know, which is fine. I mean, that's life. That's the thing. You know, that some things we won't understand, some things we never will. You know, but no, you do have some good points on that one. I'm done. I've said so. Because we could probably press pause all through this thing.
Yeah, it's a heavy conversation. It is a heavy combo. So let's try and give the panel a little space again, because I can rant about this shit all day too, man.
Level.
Well, here's the thing about race.
What's your favorite thing to say, man?
What is everything
Here's the
surface
thing.
level?
Surface level. That's the best way to big bro somebody. Just it's surface level.
Is it not? Like,
It's
I'm black. What does that mean? I'm black. That's a fucking color. Black is a color. I'm not black. Like, black is this is black. I'm not fucking black. Like, but we just say
a black ass backpack.
Point being is that you're descended from
right?
people that come
That's
from
hilarious.
Africa. You could say, well, what does white mean? Well, white means descended from people that come from Europe. And you're right. It's not.
Where did the Europeans come from? I mean, technically, aren't we all descended from Africans? If you want to get technical about it.
I like this argument. You know what? Because I make it all the time. People like, when people want to get about race, they like to get short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
Because, all right, you can take this two ways. I know you're more religious, but so let's not dig into religious aspect, right? Because I might not have a rebuttal about that. But if you want to go scientific, science says all humans came from Africa. They were all the same color. They spread out geographically, and geographically, it caused them to mutate whatever certain way in skin tone, whatever certain way in eye shape. That this happened over tens of thousands of years, but this group of people came from Africa, and so it's like people want to be short-sighted about that. People want to say, "Oh, white people came from Europe," but then like, okay, but before that, right? We were in the same group of people that came from Africa, and your group of people went up, my group of people went down, another group of people went left, another group of people went right, and they all started looking different based on the geographical and elemental
climate of where they live,
climate of things.
Which is
how
expected.
so. If we all know that's true, then how do you end up stopping at white people are from Europe? Okay, cool. If you want to just stop right there, then you're right. If you want to get there and stop there, then you're right. But if you keep going where you know it goes to, then we're all from the same freaking fucking place. So why do you want to stop right there? We could stop at Asia people are from Asia, white people are from Europe, black people are from Africa. We could do that, but why? Because it's not the whole truth. Everybody. That's why I can't take race serious, because everybody knows.
You guys heard we had some technical difficulties.
Just a refresh, if you're joining us, we're America's Mind, America's favorite show. Hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell.
Oh yeah.
We are here talking about deep stuff. If you were with us, and you can, let us know about what time that our live stream went down, so we know. You know what? I can actually find out. Give me a second.
Playback.
Yeah. Alright, so when
Wasn't too far back.
no, it's like right now. Yeah, it's just right now.
Okay. Yeah, so it seemed like about a 10 seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
All right. So we're back. Thank you guys for still following us while we handle some technical difficulties. I think they're solved now. I think the thing that we should do is probably get right back into the topic of the video. And
Okay. Yeah, let's dive right in.
It might have been helpful because it stopped us from ranting. Who knows? Let's go.
That's
You can say the N-word. Think about it. Destiny, say the N-word. Destiny, say the N-word right now.
Why? What the fuck? Chill.
Whoa. Let's bring it back.
You looking at me?
No, so
What?
Destiny, say the N-word. He wants to so bad.
No, I
Just
don't. Chill. Damn.
one time.
Oh, I thought you.
I only did that when I had my cozy stream on. Okay, chill. Holy
Wait,
shit.
okay, so this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Nick is saying some crazy stuff, but he's not saying anything to the fact that he's gonna be banned from banks or airlines. So I want to know, what are you really saying? Because you have to be saying something crazy. There's no way that the stuff you're saying is what got you banned from banks and
Where's your
stuff.
book?
I don't have a book. Oh, wait, the book I showed.
Yes, where's that book?
Which one? The one I showed the other day?
You know the book.
There has to be more to the story.
Which one? I don't have it on me. My books are over there, but
The book that got you banned for the banks and the airlines. The book is the reason you're on Cozy TV. The end of every conspiracy theory. That book, like.
I don't have that book. I was telling you about it, but
Okay.
No. Well, the thing is,
The reason is because if you really go into every conspiracy theory, and I'm not saying I believe in it in Minecraft, but the end of every conspiracy theory is that Jews control everything.
I think you could have been Sneako in a different life. I think if the internet if you were born in like 1995, I think you would have been Sneako.
This kid is
Minecraft.
well,
he's
that's
young,
a big
right?
part of it. But here's
Yeah.
the
We
thing.
can just call them the villagers, okay?
Yeah, the villagers.
If you were born in 2005,
When you say certain
I think you would
things,
have been Sneako.
there's an activist class that exists in America. It's comprised of the ADL, the SPLC, groups like that, and they happen to form they're called the trusted flaggers on YouTube. They're designated the specialists in hatred and political narratives, and they are able to flag, like a user on YouTube can flag a video and say, oh, this is hate speech, this violates the TOS. The ADL is a group founded in defense of a Jewish guy 100 years ago.
Yo, if you stop in here, give us some likes up, give us some subscribes. Help us out, yo. This is America's Mind, America's favorite show. What you got to say, Chris?
I might this deep. It's deep. Well, what they're saying, I won't say I disagree or agree. But so
I know it's heavy. It's a lot to put together.
Yeah.
It comes from different angles and it's very sensitive. People don't talk about these things.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? I'll say we should just keep. I think we should give them another 60 seconds, 2 minutes or so, and see what happens.
Who raped some girl? The ADL
to be
can
clear,
go
he
in
didn't.
as
That's not true. That's fake news.
Oh, okay, sure.
Oh, I know,
The ADL
right?
can go in and they can flag a video, and as a trusted flagger, the video automatically gets taken down. That's one example of their power. There's a group of activist special interest groups. They're designated experts in hate. They're designated experts in political narrative. And if you say these kinds of things, if you say things that go against the consensus, which is promoted by the government and the media and education.
This is what I'm going to say. And this, you know what? This is something you're not going to hear. And it's going to be hard for people to hear. I think this dude, he has the Cozy TV shirt up in the upper right-hand corner. I think he's a white supremacist. I'm not sure if he's racist.
Okay.
And so I think that's a talk that maybe we as a group aren't ready to have, because I think a whole lot of these things are conflated now. Like, for instance, I hear like white nationalists conflated with racists or white supremacists. Even to the point where I think there's a difference between nationalists who are white and white nationalists. Because in an American sense, I'm a nationalist. I'm not white though.
Yeah.
I'm black, but I'm not a black nationalist. That would be like more the Nation of Islam, who I kind of disagree with. So like, there's a whole lot of terms that are being stuck together. So I think that's a difficult place to start with. That I think this person is a white supremacist. I'm not sure anyway. Now, I won't say they're not racist, but I'm not sure if they're racist or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, but you know, that's, you know, the thing that's like this is
gonna be really interesting to see what comes up in our comment section.
The thing that saddens me is that, you know, it's just that I know that the English language can contradict itself in so many angles and stuff, but it's like everything can just be made to be something else, and without you saying it actually, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that might be because people like playing things. I think social media created an easy mode. And so now that these terms that we used to use to really define things, like correct me if I'm wrong, but when we grew up in the 90s, if you were a racist, that's some shit like you just couldn't be. It was unacceptable.
Yeah.
Now when I hear people call people racist, I'd be like, well, what were you talking about? And they were like, well, we'll be talking about the Sesame Street shit. It's like, what? No. Like, when I knew racist, that means you took black people and put them on crosses and burned them.
You did some
shit that was outlandish. That was some foul, absolute, out of this world. We should find out who the fuck you are type shit.
So I think that a lot of the wording and not the wording, but the way a lot of the things are like watered down. You know what I mean? Like, I think everything is in a preventative thing, like to not allow it to manifest into anything. It's like, you know, it's like if it's like remotely like, ooh, from the beginning, it's like, hey, they said this, and it's like, what do you mean by that? And once the person can't put their finger on what you're trying to say, then it's taboo. It's like, boom, shut it down, because we don't need this to grow or get bigger in any kind of way.
I think that's the issue, that when people hear this dude up in the right, they're gonna have a super strong instinct to stop listening to what he's talking about, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying you have to listen to him, But I think there's going to be a disconnect when I say I'm not sure if he's racist, but I think he's a white supremacist, and people can't really disconnect those two things.
Mm-hmm.
And university, they will flag you as a white supremacist, a hater, a Nazi, etc., and they have the power to go in and they get you banned from social.
I think he is a white supremacist and a hater. I don't think he's a Nazi. that's like a whole different. But see what he's saying. He's kind of saying what I'm saying, and that's a lot of that's the issue that a lot of people are going to have with what I'm saying. Because people are going to perceive it as that I'm giving him an excuse or a lane, but what I'm really doing is just actively identifying what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even saying what I feel about it. If you hear what I'm saying, I didn't say he's a white supremacist and I like it, or he's a white supremacist and I hate it. I haven't even said what I care about what he's saying. I'm so that's even the stance that we're in. I'm so focused on just identifying what I'm listening to and accurately portraying what everybody else is hearing, so that we can all get to that same place and hear it, that I can't even get to what I think about it. I just have to. I'm so focused on identifying the shit and saying this is what it is.
Yeah.
Media, and they flag your stuff to the government, and there are people that are paid to watch my show every night. There are people paid to watch my show every night, transcribe it, find all the nasty things I've said, write articles about it, and then whenever something good happens to me, if I go to an employer, they will send that dossier to the employer and say, this is someone who is saying the wrong things, has the wrong opinions, he can't have a job. And if I were to get hired by that organization, they would rally protests against that organization until I got fired. And this is something that's very real, and this is what's shaping corporate America's wokeness. This is what shakes the government's wokeness. When the Christchurch shooting happened, they formed an international consortium of telecom companies, social media companies, etc., to censor so-called white identitarian, nativist, white separatist, all kinds of ideas. And who did they bring in the congressional hearings? Who did they bring in at this consortium to inform them and give them the specialized knowledge of who to censor and who to ban? They brought in the activist class. They brought in these activist organizations. That's why you have that, that's the basis of political censorship. So that's a big part.
Okay,
hold on. I have a question. For
that's interesting what he did.
So we understand that there's all this kind of censorship going on. Our question to you is, what did you say specifically around that time that you got banned? Do you know or you not know? Or are you just saying this is all like a hit job or whatever?
You had to say something crazy.
That's what we want.
Yeah, definitely.
I do agree with that. If he has a decent platform, I do agree with that. That you can press the envelope a little bit, but the bigger the audience, and then when you start just being really blatant,
I agree with you halfway.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be all the way he is to get banned.
Yeah.
I think you can be an Andrew Tate and still get pushed out or censored, right?
Yeah.
I think he's missing that he's actually saying he's actually saying things that people might need to be like, I don't think we need to center our organization around you saying this.
Yeah.
And so I think he's missing that part. I think he feels like he's in the realm of an Andrew Tate who's canceled because maybe there's a disagreement about such and such. But I think this person is actually well, let me listen, because maybe let me see what he says that he said.
A specific thing. It's broadly that I am a race realist. It's because I criticize Jewish power.
I don't know what a race realist means. So even the things that he's saying, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a lot of fancy dancy words here.
It's because I criticize certain things.
Okay.
In Minecraft, conspiracies, and so I've been banned from many things over the past 5 years.
But see, criticizing can be offensive
I got banned from PayPal for.
Depending on what you said.
When you hear criticizing from a person who identifies as a race realist, there's a point of caution to take. Well, there's a little bit of caution to be held.
Because
like,
if you're criticizing something and you don't want to sound silly or irrelevant or dumb, you're gonna do some type of research, and so that would get you taboo too. because then you could be falsifying facts on something to prove a point.
True. But I think that's risky right now too, because of all the things that we've been through in the last 2 years. You know.
Yeah.
About whether or not it's fact. But I went on a long rant about what I think race is. I don't think it's real in a relative sense. And it seems like he's coming from that race is real in a relative sense. And then he criticizes it. I think that's something to pay attention to. What are you criticizing about it?
Yeah.
4 years ago. I got banned from YouTube in 2020. I got put on the federal no-fly list last year. It's things that my first hit piece was written about me in 2017 because I said we shouldn't import ISIS to the United States. Like, so it's many things over the course of 5 years.
Was that really all you said?
Well,
you're bullshitting. I can tell you're bullshitting. You're literally, bro. There's no, you're bullshitting, bro. Just tell us, what did you say?
Destiny took rat on him.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember there being a leaked phone call and some other stuff that came out too that got you kicked out of school too. No, was that?
Yeah, that is something.
Something about like if a white girl dates a black person, it's the same as like fucking a dog, something like that. Maybe. Am I remembering this? Am I remembering this correctly?
Of course.
No, you're not.
Oh, there it is. Thank you, Destin'y. I appreciate that.
I might be mixing it out. I'll let him defend himself.
I know that confirms everybody's biases, but that's not what I said. And I'll tell you.
Tell us what you said. Yeah.
I will. That's a very funny story because here I was at this job training for the Leadership Institute, which is this conservative
So I don't know.
thing.
I think we listened to this. He didn't really answer the question.
I don't think their discussion is really genuine.
Well,
one, I think there are too many people on there against him.
I agree.
I think it should have been 1 or 2 people.
Well,
I would love to talk to somebody like this.
See, the meat and potatoes is that you can't say certain things because there are multiple different organizations that are here to identify certain things, and I think that because of the technology, because of how broad technology is, things could get out quickly, rapidly, things like that. So I think that people are working around the clock to not even allow things to even get big.
Yeah,
I think that I think everything's on a prevent. They can't take chances. They don't want to take chances because then it doesn't look good when it blows up to, something else. Yeah, Pepper's here getting pampered. I think she almost came directly to me. It was like, okay,
Yeah, she knows.
She's like, yeah, I think
on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm under her spell. She's like, yeah, you're still trying to be my friend, so you're gonna rub me till I fall asleep. So she ain't even purring yet. So it's like, she ain't falling in love yet. She's like, yeah, you're getting there. You just keep working though.
I think we need to leave this conversation for now, but I do think there's a way. I think we need to address it in a future video. Okay. In some way that we can all bring it together and what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track. And so it's it's a little broad.
It is a little broad, yeah.
But I think the root canal of what you were saying, what I was saying, is going in that direction.
And that's the direction I want to go in.